Hello, everyone. This is Vern and Ruby, and I'm a little slow on playing our intro, so here it is. Okay,
Nice.
welcome. I just played the stuff that's put in front of me. If you guys can come up with a better intro, well, Ruby can, but we are changing. She's going to play her outro, right, Ruby?
Yeah.
So,
Yep, I will.
anyways, we're both here. What do you guys think of Ruby's new hair?
Oh, yes. This is the news wig. So every Friday, you're going to be seeing the blonde version of myself. I love it. I love it.
I like it. I think it suits you perfect. You know, you have
Thank
a
you.
wig for every show you do. What's your new political wig show?
Yes. So the exJW Political Corner live every Tuesday around 9 p.m. is the ombre wig. So I did that last week with Jimmy. And next Tuesday, I don't even know what I'm gonna do next Tuesday, but hopefully I come up with something. I don't know if Jimmy wants to come back on, but we've been doing really great with that political corner.
Yeah, we've been loving the show. And I've noticed on Discord, on our Discord channel, I'm going to show people our Discord channel here in a second. I just got to get the right screen pulled up. Here we go. And where's our Discord channel? I wanted to show people. We put the Discord link on every video. So on this video, I went in before and I copied a brand new link. They're only good for 7 days. And you notice we're on Ruby's channel here. She posts all her news and what's coming up. We've got the Compassionate Apostate. He's got a new song, and we can't play that on our show, so you can see it on Discord. These are licensed songs. We can play licensed songs, share licensed songs. There's pictures and everything on there. So you get into a landing area, and once you say, if you've never done Discord before, it's quite nice. It's a community in itself. And almost every day, we play a little bit of poker. There's a games room, and you can play mini golf and poker and different things like that. So what do you say, Ruby, about Discord?
Yeah, I love Discord. I was recently reintroduced to the platform, so now I know how to actually use it. And playing the games, I'm like getting addicted to it. I love sharing things. You can call through Discord, DM through Discord. You could live stream there too. Like you can create a watch party, people can join stuff. You could share your screen, and you could watch YouTube videos together on there. I don't know if you knew that, but you could listen to music and you can watch YouTube together. So it's really awesome. It's amazing.
Now, one thing I'm trying to figure out is who entered the casinos when they were at JW, and I think you must have snuck in because you're really good on that poker table. You really
Never.
whip all of us guys.
Absolutely never. My dad
Ever?
used to play poker, and he
Yeah.
used to teach me when I was a little girl. So that was
Oh,
my introduction
came
to poker, but
natural
I've
then.
never played it.
He
Yeah.
showed you the bluff, eh? Okay, well, we're on Discord still, and this is my channel. And what I share in my channel, it might come up as a collage. And I'm showing this is some upcoming shows I'm working on. These are videos, and you'll see this on Discord. You know, we don't show this anywhere else. And you can put opinions in, but this is one I'm working on. Massimo, JW Oregon, what's going on with the UN and Japan. Very interesting topic. Here's an interesting one. Russell, is he a pedophile or a preacher? There's quite a discussion there. I think I'm going to make that one alive.
Yeah.
Idol worship. This is a good one. Idol worship is the governing body as a unit the same as worshiping that calf? Good question. We're going to make that one alive, I'm sure. So that's
Hmm.
what's coming up on my end of it. One other one I'm working on is this one. And I think I'm going to make that alive, try to fit it in somewhere. But it's called UFOs. What does the Watchtower teach? We're going to look at what the Watchtower teaches. And we're going to look at what the Bible teaches. I was amazed. I actually only ever looked at what the Watchtower teached before. I never really looked at what the Bible teaches. So I plugged UFOs in today into that Bible tool. Holy smokes. There's UFOs coming out of the sky in the Bible.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. So we're going to look at all of that. It's completely opposite to what the Bible teaches. The Watchtower says in a nutshell, don't trust anything outside of us. That's what they're saying. Don't trust anything outside of us. So it's interesting times we're in. That's kind of one other thing I wanted to kind of show. I got to get out of here.
Okay, just hold on. Hello, everybody. Excuse me.
We're still in the sea can here, so
I know the
it's
dog's on the floor.
day 19 in the sea can. It's going to change quickly. Okay, what I wanted to show here is this is brand new, exJWfriends.com. This should be a link everyone has, exJWfriends.com. This is what we're advertising all summer through these conventions that we're doing, exJW Friends. So this is tied to Joe and Fran. But first of all, we want to thank David. And David's in our community. He's on Discord. If you want to meet David, he's playing poker usually every day.
Thank you, David, very much.
He's done all of this for the community and
for my good wife.
And for my good wife.
Thank
So
you.
you just click into it, and it'll show upcoming events. There will be about
It's
us,
coming.
contact. Joe and talks about Joe and Fran. Everything's in there. So this is something we want to make sure everyone's aware of.
Thank you, Vern.
Okay, so that's it for now. And now it's up to you, Ruby. Do you want to cover some of your articles?
Okay, yes. So the very first information that I have is actually a suggestion from a subscriber, Jennifer M. If she's in the chat, hello to Jennifer, because I saw your comment. And her comment was to the effect of a law in California regarding CSA issues, and that some people don't believe that these laws are changing, and they might not be changing for the better. So I do want to point out that California law. And so I have the article here. I can just read a little bit about it. And I have it on my tablet. So I will share the description of this legal website in the description on my channel. So if people want to see that, I'll definitely do that after the stream so I can edit that later. But okay, this article is coming from keglawyers.com. Okay, so this is regarding CSA, the registration. SB 384, California's new 3-tiered approach to sex offender registration. So the sex offender registry rules have changed. California Senate Bill 384 takes effect on January 1st, 2021, and creates a new 3-tiered approach to sex offender registration. And so this is only, I'm only bringing this up is because we do talk about CSA a lot. And when we do come encounter with JWs who have been arrested for CSA and they have to register as sex offenders. My own uncle had to do the exact same thing in the state of New York. So this is why I try to keep up with the laws in each state. And so this is what some people probably don't believe, but it's true. California changed their law. And so I'm going to skip down. Okay, well, I'll just keep reading. It says, under prior law, defendants convicted of a certain sex offenses were required to register for life as sex offenders under California Penal Code 290 PC. And so both community activists and law enforcement came to agree that this system was ineffective and not serving the original purposes of the sex offender registry, as law enforcement spent the majority of its time on record keeping and monitoring of low risk and low level offenders. So, I don't agree with that personally, but this is California, this is their state, and this is just the way they're going to do it. And so Jennifer wanted to point this out. So according to the California law, Senate Bill 384, on a bipartisan basis, the new law, effective January 1st, 2021, establishes a 3-tiered approach based on offense of conviction and other relevant factors. Tier 1 requires sex offender registration for at least 10 years for defendants convicted of low-level sex crimes such as misdemeanor, indecent exposure. Tier 2 requires sex offender registration for at least 20 years for defendants convicted of mid-level sex crimes such as lewd conduct with a minor. And then the third tier requires lifetime sex offender registration for defendant convicted of the most serious sex crimes such as rape and sex trafficking. So that's what Jennifer wanted us to point out. And if you do want to see those 3 tiers, it does explicitly detail what that entails. So whenever we come across these cases in California, they will categorize that crime. And the tier 1, after 10 years, you can petition the court to be taken off the registry. And that is Jennifer's point, that California changed the law. And unfortunately, not everybody might agree. Like, I don't, because after 10 years, if somebody wants to get off the list, they can do that. And so when we talk about Jehovah Witness stuff regarding CSA stuff, it's kind of disappointing that another predator can get off the list after 10 years and waltz up into any religious institution, not just a Kingdom Hall, but just in society in general. And you will never know because they could take their name off the list. So I just wanted to give Jennifer M a shout out. I'm so happy that she brought that to my attention. It made me do my homework. I looked up my own states. And just for comparison, in the state of Florida, if you do commit a crime to a child under 12 years old, you will get the death penalty. Okay, so you need to look up the laws in your state. And so I think that's really important. Back to you, Vern.
Okay, well, great job, Ruby. Great coverage. You know, I am agreeing. Things are changing in the world. It seems like there's awakening, like all over. We're gonna cover on watching Watchtower, some of their articles here. But first, before we get into that, I want to bring this up. It's good to check out our lives. Ruby has her own page, and she can show it. But I was going to show you mine. It kind of gives you an idea what we're doing on the lives. And you'll notice we have one there, how to treat PTSD. I made a video about that a few days ago because I had a little bit of an episode. I think a lot of us exJWs, we have episodes and we don't know it. And I was able to identify it was an episode. And once I realized it was PTSD, it went away like that. Like it just went away. Because I recognized what it was all about. It wasn't about anything going on around me, because look at where I live. Like I live in paradise, right? Well, the sea can. That day I was hot and sweaty and got a little bit of sunstroke, and you have a breakdown, and then you start wondering, did the Watchtower put me here? Or am I doing this for the Watchtower, or am I paying penance? Then I look up at the sky and start talking to God in a rough way. That's not good. It could be dangerous, I think.
It could creep up on you.
I started doing some research on this, and we made this PTSD video. We covered it as a live. It's a subject a lot of us might not want to talk about or look into. It didn't get a lot of views. But I'll tell you what, it's an important one. And once you realize this, we can start moving beyond it. They're hurdles. They're little hurdles. We can jump them. And we have the help of the community. And one of the main things that I've learned through this whole channel is that it's so important to talk. You wonder why Ruby and I talk so much? Well, we're dealing with a lot of issues, probably. Lots of us. And then I'm noticing people are coming on the channel. And once they get them talking, boy, we could almost make a channel for them. The exJWs love talking. Do you notice that, Ruby?
Yeah, because you need to. You need to. You just don't know that you need to. So once you start, then it's like the floodgates open and everything comes out, and you feel so much better afterwards. And that's why I'm so glad that you're doing this on your channel. Because that's how I got on it. I started talking to Joe and Fran, and then I got connected with other people. Then Discord came into play, and then you reached out to me to do this. So if I would have never joined Joe and Fran's show, I probably would have never been here right now. So doors can open for you once you start talking to people and making mutuals, acquaintances, at least just putting yourself out there.
And we might not have all the answers. I don't claim to have any answers. Like, who am I? I'm just an exJW. I'm sharing my journey. Like all of us, we're sharing our journeys. But there's some obvious stuff that we see that's not right. And we're willing to talk about it. We make videos about it. If you go to the video channel, I made a few videos the last couple of days. Now, the JW org, too much BS. Now, that was after I was hot and bothered after this whole... And I was just, you know how you get negative? Sometimes it takes us a little bit to get out of the negativity. That was a bit of a negativity day that day. And I made a video, and my good wife says, well, maybe just hold on. Don't publish that today, honey. You know, you might want to brush it up and polish it up tomorrow. And sure enough, when night, you know, it's like there's a reset in the middle of the night. We go to sleep. We have a good slumber. And it's like we wake up and we just feel refreshed. And that's how I felt. And then I went in there and started beeping a lot of stuff out and cutting a lot. I cut like a lot out. I ranted a lot more than you see in that video. It's a soft video, actually, compared to what it was. So if we have a good wife, if you don't have a good wife, trust your inner gut. You know, sometimes we vent to ourselves, but sometimes it's not worth publicizing all of it. You're better to make another video out of it. Like, is Russell really a pedophile, or is that just rumor? So we want to get to the bottom of it. I've heard it on exJW's channels. I want to find the evidence. That's what I'm interested in. So we're looking for that, and we're going to make a video out of it. Why rant all that stuff out in one big breath? Make videos on each of these little topics, and you guys let us know in the community what you like. Now, the positive apostate, that's a good one. A little bit of poetry in there. This other one I'm just going to touch on roughly here. This Jehovah's Witness that's shot at Milwaukee at that RNC convention. I did that. It was Fox. I didn't say Jehovah's Witness. I had so many people in the comment, hey, he's not a Jehovah's Witness. No, he's homeless. Oh, isn't there Jehovah's Witness on the homeless? It's not like they have a homeless program. That's where that guy lives. You know, maybe someone talked to him. I don't know. But I just deliver the news. I don't have all the answers. So I was going to say on that, I wanted to show you, and I don't know why. I'll pull it up here. But let's just look at Jehovah's Witness site. Wow. I wanted to get this on tape, on recording. I was going to record it before they change it. They change this website every day almost. And if you don't get a snapshot of it, you can lose it. This is their front page news, folks. Do you think us apostates make a difference? I just ran my news article on this political violence thing. Well, they get right into it, and they don't mention the JW that got shot.
Cynical opportunists.
But they call it what are we calling them?
Cynical opportunists.
So Jehovah's Witness writers, the people that are in charge of this website, because I'm not going to blame Jehovah's Witnesses.
No.
This is head office. They're cynical opportunists. Okay. Cynical opportunists.
This is tone deaf.
This is being tone deaf to what's really going on out there. My video wasn't about that. It was about telling the Jehovah's Witnesses to stay inside when there's danger, and going to the Bible and looking at what the Bible says. When there's danger, don't run to it. Run away from it. That's what the Bible says, and that's what common sense says. Unless you're standing up for something, and that standing up for something means you're going to put your life, in the balance. So they go on political violence. We ran the video on the JW that was shot. Like, it's amazing how that stuff hits the headlines, but I don't know how it does. So they go on to talk about the politicians being shot. Europe witnessed numerous incidents, and the United States has been shaken by an attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. but they mentioned nothing about that poor JW homeless guy. Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
They actually
yeah.
did the same thing when in 2020 the BLM riots were going on. And then they had that article about how we shouldn't be getting involved in these
Yeah.
political things. So it's like they keep bringing up things that they actually want you to be neutral on. So why even talk about it? Why even bring it up if you can't have an opinion about it?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ruby. That's about all I wanted to wrap on for a bit here. And
Okay. So this story is a little alarming. I found it on Reddit and it's coming out of Brazil, and the whole video is in Portuguese. So I had to really do a long time trying to translate the transcripts and stuff like that. So thank God YouTube and like the internet translates the whole page for you. So I'm going to share this brother's YouTube channel once again on my description later when the stream is over. So apparently, allegedly, okay, I use these words because of course I cannot tell for certain. Just like in my last video about Warwick Pimo, a bunch of people were coming to me like, oh, that's not what happened, yada, yada. I'm like, that's the reason why I use the word allegedly. These are things that we cannot prove, but this is what is being claimed by the person themselves. They are going on the internet and saying, this is what happened to me in a Jehovah's Witness kingdom hole, or this is what happened to me in my personal experience. And we don't have to prove anything to anybody. We're just relating the news, how it comes forward. Okay, so June 4th 2024, this video was posted, or this is when I came of knowledge of it. And before I play the video, I'm just going to describe what's happening because it is in a different language. This is an active Jehovah's Witness. He claims that he was brought to a judicial committee and wrongfully disassociated on the grounds of apostasy, or something to the effect of, because he claims that they did not give him any information of why they were disfellowshipping him. They didn't give him any counsel as like, okay, this is the reason why. And I'm assuming, this is my assumption, that it's because he has this YouTube channel. This is a Jehovah's Witness YouTube channel where he discusses his faith, which is JW stuff. And he does this in his language, in his country. That's his right. I don't have a problem with that. But the problem we do have is the way, once again, the Jehovah's Witness elders went about this hunt. They hunted him down, they brought him to a committee, and they forcefully disfellowshipped him. And you guys already know, like I said in my last video with Warwick Pimo, once you get announced, that is the end of your life, and Jehovah Witness life. People are not going to be asking questions. They are just going to look at you as bad association. And so these people are unfortunately innocently doing things the right way, thinking that Jehovah's Holy Spirit is going to prevail, and it doesn't. These men will ruin your life anyways. So in the video, you will see his announcement. He stands up and he is protesting this announcement. He does not agree with it. Allegedly, he was hit. He was assaulted with his family and his children. So I just want to put that out there because I will share that video. And we really don't see the assault. So that's why I'm just saying, I don't know, but this is what he is alleging. And I think it's important to share that. Okay, I think you should be able to see my screen. Okay.
Não me toca. Não me toca. Aqui, você nunca mais se atreva a me tocar ou apertar meu braço. Tá ouvindo? Você agiu como um moleque ali e da próxima vez que você me tocar, você terá providências judiciais, como agora. Tá entendido?
Okay, I'm going to pause it and just translate it because I do know a little Spanish, so I understand what he's saying just a little bit. He's saying, do not touch me. So that's where the claims are coming, that somebody punched him from behind. They were trying to drag them out the Kingdom Hall. And that is assault. They were putting their hands on this brother and his family. So he's saying, do not touch my daughter and don't touch me.
I wonder who took the video, because someone's pointing a camera at him. Is that him? The pixelated?
So the point of view is the brother. is the owner of that YouTube channel. So I will share his channel because he
Oh,
has multiple videos explaining exactly what happened, but it's in
okay.
Portuguese. So if
Well,
anybody wants to do more research, you can see his other videos.
great.
Você já agiu com arrogância, prepotência. Então, tá bom, não preciso da sua opinião. Tá
almost
dado o
like a
recado para
cartoon.
você, hein? Não me toque nunca mais. Tá
Yep.
dado o recado, hein?
Olá a todos. É exatamente isso aí que ocorreu.
Okay, so that's the brother who you just saw was taking the video in the Kingdom Hall. And then he goes on to explain what had happened. So I took a few notes from his other videos, and I'm just going to read
Mhm.
the notes that I took. He claims he did not write a letter of disassociation, but was announced for disassociated behavior. When the announcement was given, he stood up and protested that this was not in line with the governing body standards. He reported to the Brazil branch and was told to look out for his own rights and to seek legal remedy if he needed to. And he did. They wrote letters to Bethel about the announcement. He wrote letters to Brazil Bethel to annul the disassociation announcement, but with no response. So he's trying to go up the ladder to seek justice for himself and his family because he is considered removed or disassociated from his local Kingdom Hall, and he feels very wrongly, wrongly accused of something that he doesn't even know he's accused of. And so they told him just to leak legal remedies because he claims he was assaulted. If you want to check out his channel, I will copy and paste it in the description at the end of the stream.
Thank you, Ruby. Did you want to cover any more? Or you want me to do a bit?
I think that's it for me right now because next comes Monica. She did a part 2 about the banned Jehovah's Witnesses, and I love her videos, so I want to share that. But just to recap the Brazil story, the only reason why I'm sharing that is because this is what Jehovah's Witnesses do. When you don't agree with them, when you speak up, when you protest, you will be quickly removed. Nobody listens to you. Your voice is not heard. And that's the bad rep that they want to give us apostates or ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, as if, oh, just move on with your life. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, he obviously did something wrong. Like, it's none of our business. It is our business because it's sad. And I'm glad that he recorded this and put it on the internet because this is exactly what happens to us. But nobody sees what these things. So he's exposing his own experience. And the most sad part about it is that he is still a believing Jehovah's Witness. He feels as if the local elders, the Kingdom Hall, are not listening to what the governing body is saying, that they are going rogue, that they're doing whatever they want. And he still believes in the institution of the governing body. He believes in Jehovah and Jehovah's Holy Spirit. And so he thinks that however long it takes, he's still trying to seek justice for himself because he wants to be reinstated as a good standing Jehovah's Witness. And if you see the comments, a lot of people agree with him. There are a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses who are like on the fence, like, oh yes, brother, you are still Jehovah's servant. You are still, Jehovah's friend or whatever whatever language they use. So we are really seeing a shift. And I've never seen this before. I mean, it was either you're wrong or you're right. There was never like an in middle. And so this brother is getting caught in the middle, and he is still a Jehovah's Witness. He's still believing. And so I just wanted to share his story. And I even commented on one of his videos in his language. I did Google Translate and I translated my sentiments to him. And I said, listen, I feel the exact same way. I am inactive. But before I woke up, I was still a believing Jehovah's Witness, feeling that they did me wrong, that they were accusing me of something that I didn't do, that they were saying that I'm not repentant when I am. And that attack on you emotionally is horrible because these are supposed to be your religious, leaders. You're supposed to go to them for spiritual guidance, and they don't give it to you. They treat you like nothing. So that's why I wanted to bring up that story.
Well, that's great, Ruby. And I agree with you. We experienced the same thing at the protest. Right at the very end, I went up to all the attendants and shook their hands. One guy didn't want to shake my hand, but he did actually, the bald guy. He was the guy that was tracking us down, and he was making fists. I was studying his body language, because that's what you do. You study body language. You stay away from danger. But anyways, he was making fists, clenching fists the whole time, and we were there from noon, because we did the noon protest, the lunch hour. We found out where they conglomerate, and they sent the police out. The police found us. They said we were blocking entryways and stuff, and I thought I had loaded it up, protest little video, but you guys have seen it. I played it on my channel. But the one point that I want to make, just like Ruby's saying, out of the 3 attendants, then showed up this other guy. He just showed up, and he stood there. The other 3 guys turned their backs. This guy came out of the group, stood there with me on the street corner. Shauna was there, and Shauna says, "Let's go." He started talking, and he engaged me. You know how we get engaged, right? Like right now, I'm kind of engaged. No, I am really engaged in this discussion with you guys. But they engage you. You guys were once JWs. You know how we engage people on the bus or whatever, informal. He engaged me. Shauna got so nervous, she crossed the street and said, "Vern, come on." Like we were waiting, like we were delayed. She was trying to get me out of a situation. She thought I was stuck. She actually was worried that I was stuck. But I wanted to see how far he was going to take this. And he took it all the way. All the way. I said, "I'm an apostate." He says, "We don't care." I says, "I go online. I speak bad things about the religion. We don't care. We need you." And that's when Shauna almost threw up and she crossed the street. I just was standing there listening to him. It was an interesting conversation. And so then at the end of the conversation, he brought up pedophilia. He says, "I know we have a problem." I didn't bring it up. Our message and our protest is peaceful, right? ExJW friends. That's it. Live your life with love. He brought it up. He says, "I know we have a problem of pedophilia, but it's all over. It's all over." So anyways, I can cover some news. Do you want to talk about it? But that's all I have to say. This is real time, folks. What Ruby's saying is real time. What I'm experiencing is real time. I never thought in 100 years that they would look at us as an apostate and say, "Come on back." Now, I'm so curious. We're going to go across Canada and see if this is a unanimous thing, or is it just Edmonton? I'm not sure. We're going to see which congregation has the most love, where they'll invite an apostate back. Like me. Who knows? Okay, well, Ruby, I have a few little things. Do you want me to cover it before you get into your video? This is going to be very quick. I'll tell you what's happening, folks. It's leading up to this. Sold. Study it. This is a little Kingdom Hall. They're not selling for much. What do you think your Kingdom Hall's worth? They're hardly getting 100 grand out of them. They're trying to get 140, but they're not. Anyways, that's what this all leads up to. Now, what's causing it? Well, it's all over the world. Let's just get into this. 3.25 million settlement reached in foster care child sex abuse case against the state of Washington. This is foster care case. This has nothing to do with JW work, but it's happening all over, everywhere. It's an awakening, and it's all coming out. Here's another one. Jehovah's Witness elder presiding overseer. Public prosecutor is asking for a sentence of 14 years in prison. What does this guy look like? This is what he looks like. You see, they make young elders. We think an old guy. This is a young elder. They're making these elders too young. They pick them. They're 18 years old. They don't know. They haven't even got over the bloom of youth. They haven't gotten married, raised a family. They could be a pedophile. Who the heck knows? But Watchtower's getting caught with their pants down. And this is what's hitting the news. This is the fact of it. Here's another one. Current trial date, Lynn Hagen and Tara Bird versus Watchtower, New York. This
Oh,
is coming
wow.
up, folks, December 9th, 2024. This is going to be a big one. We're going to follow it. This is just the announcement. So
What kind of
all
a
the way
case is
back.
that? Is that CSA or what? What kind of a case is that?
Let's look at it here. See what they say.
Further to this video, which also shows how to find this information.
That's all they're saying. Nothing. They just showed that's what's coming up, so it'll give us some news to follow up on.
Okay, yeah. We got to watch that one.
Okay, back at you there, Ruby.
Okay, cool. So if anybody has been watching our series, I have mentioned Monica, exJW Monica from South Africa. She does these really great videos. She also does makeup tutorials. But when she talks about the Jehovah's Witnesses, I love when she does it. So she came out with a part 2. So the first video was all of the countries that ban Jehovah's Witnesses, and that was a really great video. She is coming out with a part 2, and so I am going to show that video. Let's see. Why Jehovah's Witnesses are banned. exJW South African. Monica. Okay, do you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So this is about 8-9 minutes. Let's get right into it.
The Jehovah's Witnesses have been banned in multiple countries around the world. Last week, we went over 17 countries that have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And in today's video, I'm going to share another batch of 17 countries that have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses, including Russia. So let's get into the video. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Monica. For those who are new, thank you so much for stopping by. I create exJW content, and I also create some beauty content as well. If it speaks with you and resonates with you, please subscribe and let us know in the comment section once again where you are watching this video from. Last week, we had people from Mexico, America, Austria, Australia, like South Africa. It was so exciting. Let us know where you're watching from, and let's get into the video. I'm going to leave Russia for last because there's so much to unpack there, guys. A lot. So firstly, we have Mauritania. Mauritania has banned the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I couldn't really find a reason as to why. But at this point, guys, I feel like we get why countries have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. Secondly, we have Morocco. Now, Moroccans have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I would coin this a soft ban. Let me explain. So the Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to freely practice their own religion under Moroccan law. I'm just reading my notes here. It is against Moroccan law to try and convert Muslims to another religion. And because of that, the Jehovah's Witnesses have to confine their missionary efforts to non-Muslims. I did a bit of research and I came across this report from UNHCR from someone named Yunus. I don't think I'm pronouncing their name correctly, but apologies. And I wanted to just quickly read this for all of the Jehovah's Witnesses who are watching this video and leaving nasty comments. I know you're trying to type them already. But here's what he had to say, and he's a Christian. Our culture is based on family, on relationship, on small tribes, small communities. So when it comes to someone that says, well, you guys, if he says, I don't believe in what you believe, it's like insulting them. It's like bringing dishonor to your family. A lot of people who are still carrying to Jehovah's Witnesses, and I realized this also while still being a Jehovah's Witness, is that the religion really conditions you to not see people. When I spoke last week about other countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, people were like, yeah, but it's Muslim countries. Have you seen what the governments are doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like they were justifying the conditions that these people live under. And that, my friend, is prejudice. That right there is racism. If you do not see people because of their color and you think, oh my gosh, they are worthy of a certain life, because let's not forget, which countries are causing the destabilizations in these countries? Which leaders are placing these puppet leaders who are doing all of these heinous things around the world? When I share these videos, I am not promoting the persecution of Jehovah's Witnesses. I am not for Jehovah's Witnesses being hurt. I am not for them being arrested. However, Jehovah's Witnesses need to realize that they are part of a very dangerous organization. And as you go down this list, you will learn why. But I promise you, it's very, very dangerous. Like, you do not know what you have actually gotten yourself involved in. And I will reiterate this in this video. You need to leave the Jehovah's Witnesses as soon as possible. You need to leave while you still can. Because, baby, when I found out about Russia, it's going to shock us all. Let's carry on. Then we have North Korea. We know why North Korea banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. I couldn't find a reason, but we know why. And then we also have Oman. Oman has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And then we have Qatar. Qatar has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses, along with Saudi Arabia. Then we have Singapore. So in 1972, the Singaporean government banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And here's what they said. They deregistered the Singapore Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses on the grounds that its existence was prejudicial to public welfare and order because its members refused to perform military services. The males in Singapore are all obligated to join the military, and they don't salute the flag or swear oaths of allegiance to the state. And a lot of people who are Jehovah's Witnesses always get excited when they hear this. They're like, oh my gosh, that is so great. We're not part of the world. We're not part of these governments. But they don't understand that what privilege that actually means. It's a privilege to not care about the government and how a government treats you. And sadly to say, it's a privilege that only a certain group of people have, whereas people of color have to fight hard for what it is that they have because of the current world that we live in. So it's very dangerous to actually have a group of people not take part in government, not take part in voting, not taking part in the country. And it's so dangerous. I think that I'm not even explaining it properly for the sake of this video, but people need to be involved what is happening within the country. Because when you are not involved, politicians will do what they want. They will get away with whatever it is that they want to do, which is what they've been doing for the last couple of years. And people are not having it anymore. They are not having it anymore. And that's why we're seeing some countries crack down on these religious organizations, these new age religions, these cults that are trying to remove people from society. And that's why other countries, I think it was Brunei that we spoke about last week, that said that they want unity within their country. I think it's Comoros, actually. It's Comoros that say they want unity within their country. And that's why they have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And this makes so much sense. But let's carry on. Then we have Somalia. Somalia has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. Then we have Syria. So Jehovah's Witnesses have been banned in Syria since 1964, but generally its members are able to meet and worship in private. However, torture and other ill treatment is widely practiced in Syria detentions and interrogation centers, and detainees are most at risk while held in communicado detention. I did not say that correctly. But that's what's currently taking place. And I know the Jehovah's Witnesses are about to type, yes, see what I mean? These people are being treated ill in the Middle East, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, but what about Guantanamo Bay? Who's ill-treating people in Guantanamo Bay? You need to know your history. Don't ever find yourself in a position where you are standing up for any government, not even your own, because at the end of the day, all our governments are up to no good. All our governments. So if you're going to be pointing fingers at another government, what role has your government played in those people's lives? You need to ask yourself that question. Then we have Tajikistan. They have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. Then we have Tunisia. Tunisia has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm smiling because I used to talk to a Tunisian man once upon a time in my life. We have Turkmenistan. They have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. Then we have UAE. They have also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And then we have Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And then we have Vietnam. So Vietnam actually had Jehovah's Witnesses. And the latest article or just some information I could find was from November 2010. And this was actually from the American Embassy, or just something that had to do with America. It was an American document that stipulated that Vietnam had 55 active congregations in 18 provinces with 3,000 members, and they had 32 places of worship registered locally. And this was in 2010. So I don't know where these people are currently. Second, lastly, we have Yemen. Yemen has also banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now let's get into Russia, guys. Like, as a person who used to be a Jehovah's Witness, it doesn't take much to convince me about banning the Jehovah's Witnesses. But for the sake of this video, I always try to do as much research as possible to find out why countries have banned the Jehovah's Witnesses. And not all countries will you find a reason, but some countries you do find a reason. And then you find countries like Russia that just leaves you very confused.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on with my camera. It is not turning on. But that was a great video from Monica. I love her. She is so funny. And I just want to point out exactly what Yvonne said. She says, weird, because when I was going, I was told in every country now. And that is the JW position. They always want to make it seem like, oh, yes, we are the only ones who are going door to door. We are the only ones that are doing what Jesus described to do in the Bible, and that we have to fulfill the prophecy of every country has to receive, you know, the good news about Jehovah so that they can be saved or whatever. And Monica presents it very nicely, how many countries are banning them and the reasons why they are banning them. So that was part 2. Part 3 I'm going to do next Friday, and we're gonna get into what she feels about in Russia, and it does spill over into politics, which is why I created the exJW political corner. And she did mention some Guantanamo Bay. She mentioned Project 2025. You know, certain things in the political world that can either hinder or change laws that regards to religion. So that's why I think we are so like sometimes we take for granted the freedom of religion that we do have in America, and in other countries it's just not that way, and it does violate even innocent JWs who just want to worship in peace. So we get it, we understand it, but they cannot claim that they are all over the world doing what's good when these countries are literally exposing them for what they really are.
Yeah, I agree with you. So if anybody has news, if you have a guest, if Monica wanted to come on our news and deliver a special features news, anybody's welcome on our Friday news wrap up. Even from the audience, if anybody has some new news and they want to come on, probably at the end of the show, they're welcome. Okay, I have a few articles I could whiz through here. Did you have some more to say on Monica? I didn't want to cut you off, Ruby. That was a very great presentation. Great
No,
video.
yeah,
I
that was
remembered her right away. It's like I knew this lady last week.
Yes, I love her so much. I told her I want to collaborate with her. So she said as soon as she gets a new phone, she's going to dive into the ExJW community and do more collaborations and lives and things like that. So it's just a matter of time, and then we will be seeing Monica way more often. But her videos are amazing. Go subscribe to her. She gave me permission to use her videos on these lives. So next Friday, I'm going to do part 3.
Well, if you're watching Monica from Canada, thank you very much. What else do I say? It was a great video. Okay, I'm gonna pull up some stuff here. Brazil. It's not just in Canada, not just in the U.S. Brazil, Jehovah's Witness ease punishment for pedophiles in their manual. So they're easing. Yeah, we're covering this on the Elders Book. Elders Book is usually done Monday nights. I've taken a break off the summer. I've been covering some other topics Monday nights. And then we're going to get back into the Elders Book. But we have a playlist of the Elders Book, and we covered all the sex offenses, pedophilia in their manual, in their 2024 Elders Book. And I can see them coming out with a new Elders Book soon. But it's hitting headlines. These are headlines, folks. That's what this is. This is not us apostates building this stuff. This is headlines in Brazil. Could you imagine you're in Brazil, you open the newspaper, and you're a Jehovah's Witness, and you like to get the newspaper, and this is what you read. It seems like the newspapers know more about that elders book than the rank and file Jehovah's Witness. What would you say, Ruby? Did you know much about that elders book?
No, I did not. And I am still shocked by what is written in there. And they say that they've made changes to it. So was it worse before it was now? Like, it's still shocking.
It is. Now, this next one here is Jehovah's Witness, New York, named as defendant in a foreclosure case. Now, this is just some stuff. This is off Watchtower. If you want to get into more of the details on this, you can. They get a lot of stuff off the court documents. So they found a notice to tenants of a building in foreclosure. New York state law requires. So this is the dwelling where your apartment is located is the subject of foreclosure. So it sounds like someone was maybe leasing off whoever owns the building. So let's just move forward. And what does it say? Blah, 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 blah. You see, it says a lot of stuff that I don't want to read. So, because I never read it, never did my homework, but it is here. There it is. A reverse mortgage in the amount of $423,000 to the current month, the borrower. I'm looking for the name Watchtower in any of these paperworks. The name, this is just all the papers. Don't know if that's it. There it is. So they served an affidavit of service on the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York. They're the defendant in this case and in this action on this date. So yeah, Watchtower is getting served foreclosures. What's that all about, folks? Did someone lose in court recently? And they're going after the money, and Watchtower says, I know there's 4 of you guys in Montana, and you all kind of were awarded $35 million, and I know we settled for more, substantially more, a whole lot more, times 4. We don't have the money, folks. So you know what happens, folks? Their lawyers are sanctioned. They can start. Now I don't know if this is totally a supposition, but this is how it happens, and this is why it happens. So Watchtower is being foreclosed upon. That's pretty serious. They didn't even get a chance to sell their own property. They got foreclosed on. That's like something happened to Watchtower, or something is happening. Now here's another one. It's hitting the newspapers. And this, where is this newspaper at? It's in Blick. Who's Blick? Some newspaper, I think Germany, kind of a thing. That looks like German. Zugen, Jehovah's, and I'm Zerker, Letzenground. Did I do that right?
No
Would you
clue,
say
but
that's
thank
German?
God they translated. Thank God they translate all of these stuff to English, because all of this news, you know what's crazy is that I'm finding so many other news articles in different countries, but not that many in America. In America, I only see court cases, but I don't really see like off stuff like about exJW, like regular stories. So that's pretty interesting that other countries are like taking the time to listen to people's stories and then incorporating it in their reporting and in their news and bringing exposure to that. So yeah, I'm glad they translate it.
Man, this is Armageddon in Letzengrund. This is how Jehovah's Witnesses tick. Like headlines. This is how Jehovah's Witnesses tick. They're really getting to the bottom of some of this stuff. Like that study that's going on in Germany, Zurich. That's interesting. Now here's another one. Queensland woman charged with failing to report. That's down in Australia. Australia is really thorough. This ABC News network in Australia, they really get stuff out. But yeah, all over the world, people are getting called out on the CSA issues. So the milestone statement on the Greater Graces promises to work with Rachel Denhollander as a consultant to help this church. This is another church. To do what? I don't know if she's famous. Probably this Rachel's famous. But this is all about a commitment to work with someone who has lived and experienced CSA sex abuse. And the improved tone that we heard in this announcements are critical for healing and protecting current and future generations. So we must all remain vigilant to ensure appropriate steps to continue to be taken. That's our job as apostates. We keep the pressure on because we will be watching. We're all watching Watchtower. So it's all over the world. Everyone's watching to make sure that that the victims are looked after. It's coming. If you're a victim and you haven't been looked after, it's coming. School districts are saying just pay them, pay the settlement. Let's move on. And that's what's happening. They're paying $3 million in the settlement. This Cheney school district. It's a suit against them because they looked the other way when a child abuse victim came to them and said, "Hey, there's some issues."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to get into the whole story here. Do you know any of that story?
No, I don't. But that's exactly what I said about the Montana case when they settled. If anybody saw my video, my sincere opinion is that I'm a little disappointed that they did settle, because if they would have went to trial, it would have exposed all of the lies, all of the motions that they have destroyed documentation, that they did a lot of shady stuff, and that their own JW lawyer was lying and giving false information to the court, and the judge was on top of them, and she was a female judge, and I could only imagine how like the ick that they were feeling, that they had to listen to this woman who was the judge in that case. So I was disappointed, because if you settle, you're not going to go to trial, you're not going to know any of this stuff, and the only reason why you would know about it is if you go to the court website and you look up the documentation, or if you watch our YouTube videos. Do you think Jehovah's Witnesses are really going to do that? Not really, not the majority of them. If it would have went to trial and it would have been on national television, and like the headline would have been Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses, in this case with with the victims that were mentioned in the case, that would have been news for Montana. You know what I mean? So maybe that would have woken up more JWs in Montana, and then we would have been able to report on it here. So they settled it. It's like hush, quiet, case closed, don't talk about it. And that's exactly what Watchtower wants to do, and that's exactly what they do, to keep it under the rug all the time. So a little disappointing, but it is what it is.
The difference with Montana, though, is those ladies actually won in a jury in Montana, and they were awarded $35 million. They already went to court. They already pled their case, told all of this was already in front of a jury, and it was so bad. It was so bad that the jury awarded them $35 million. So then, of course, Watchtower takes it to Supreme Court, gets it thrown out of court because of the clergy penitent privilege. They say, even though they have no business in Montana, they said later, they had this all thrown out of court because of that clergy thing, confidentiality with members, I guess. And they jumped on the Catholics priests bandwagon. The ruling that's been established for a long time. They wanted
just like Jennifer says there. She says oftentimes they settle so that the victim is not put on the stand. So I mean, I understand that. So it's like however they went about it, they just got rid of it. You know what I mean? It's like they got rid of the case. Don't let it go. Don't let it finish. And so that's it's just a little disappointing. But I'm still happy for them. You know what I mean? Like I'm still happy for how far they got.
So let's play a little game here. You like games, Ruby? Upfront games. I'm gonna spell the rules out. You're okay. So you're the victims. You're those girls from Montana, right? And I'm the Watchtower lawyer, right? I'm coming to negotiate with you. So you're the victims, right? Now, on the Montana case, you've already went through a jury. You've already been up on the stand. You spilled your guts. Your life has just been up.
Right.
We have to put a lot of beeps in here. So their lawyer did a snap-on job. They've been in front of a jury. They're awarded $35 million. That's a big case. $35 million. That's like paying someone for a lost life. And because it's a crime that was hidden. That's like what it should be, right? So of course Watchtower appeals it. now those girls, and it's documented, all the motions, what happened. Their top executive, Philip Brumley, he got sanctioned. This can't go away in the history books. It's there. 154,000. Why? Because he stole candy from a child. Well, no, he was deceitful, a liar, a filthy liar, and he gets up in front of court and he tells these filthy, rotten lies to hide crimes,
Right.
and to shelter Watchtower. To shelter them for what? Not because they're religious, they believe in God and they shouldn't do this stuff, because he's using theocratic warfare. And then the 1957 Watchtower, that's what they did for Germany. And if you have to move literature from country to country, you can lie. You can go to court, you can lie. This is about literature. This is about the organization. This is about our kings, our future kings who cannot lie. We will go to court and lie for them. That's the way I see this. But they're all culpable. They're all in bed together. Montana nailed it. And it's all documented. The work is done. And now I'm Watchtower. I know all this. I'm coming to settle. You're the girls. Are you settling for $35 million this time? You were already awarded it. I know that. You know that. So I'm going to lay down in front of you a piece of paper. I'm going to put in $35 million. What are you going to say?
That's exactly the point that everybody says in the comments, and I feel like I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know what I would have done, but the fire that I have is more so to expose them than receiving a settlement, because the damage has already been done. Money cannot bring back your innocence. Money cannot change really anything. So the exposure that I would have, like the anger, the bitterness that I would have had if I was in that position, I would have been like, I want to go all the way. Like I said in my video, I'm confident that they would have won. I don't think that think that the jury would have ruled that, sorry, you guys are wrong. I think they had more than enough evidence to win if they would have went to trial, and then we would have seen that in September or August.
There's cases going for $104 million. So if I was a defense attorney, and those girls wouldn't be talking to anybody, they'd be talking to those girls' lawyers. I'd say it better be a hell of a lot more than 35 or we're not meeting. And it better cover all the damages from the last court until now, because there's damages. All these 5 years of this BS, you better have a lot more than 35 million. We already won with 35 million. You better have a good number, Watchtower, when we meet, or this is going to trial. And I think Watchtower had a good number. They couldn't turn it down. Could be double. I don't know, but I think it was a good number. It definitely covered the 5 years, or they wouldn't have settled. And they already did the work. I'd say, you know what I'd say to these girls? All of these girls, here's what I'm saying right here. Where's my... We want to give them a standing applause for all their work.
And a big thank you.
And a big thank you. Okay, that's all my ranting. Don't get me... I already made a video on this stuff.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's why it's so important to talk about it, because if they didn't have the courage to come forward with the allegations to begin with, we wouldn't even be talking about it. They would have never even won the settlement. There's so many victims that just stay quiet. That's why I talk about the laws. Look up the laws in your state, the statute of limitations. You might have a case. Like the 2 weeks ago, our last stream, I mentioned that Delaware was proposing a bill to change the statute of limitations. If that goes through the House, or whatever government that I don't know if they have like a House or something for the state, but if it passes through in Delaware, you might have a case if you've experienced CSA issues, regardless of religion or whatever. So if you look up these laws and see what state you're coming from, you might have a case, and you just have to have the courage and let go of the fear to finally seek justice.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Okay, what do we have left on the... do you have a few stories left, Ruby? I have a few little things here. I could swing through.
Yes. What's your next story? What are you going to dive into?
I was just going to, here's what we have here. I wasn't going to talk. I already did a video on this guy that was shot. And it was just one of the thumbnails that we covered, the Ohio police. We covered that. I covered that right at the beginning. For those of you that came in late, this is the guy that was shot in Ohio. It's right. I'll show you where he's at in the picture here. He's not out in the ministry, obviously. There he is. This is the guy that was shot.
Yeah. So apparently he was a homeless man that the neighborhood knew him as a Jehovah because he was preaching.
You know, and so then I guess, you know, the Watchtower jumped on the bandwagon and they came up with this headliner. This is their headliner today. Feature.
Yep.
Watchtower. Political violence. And then you go in and it actually names this protest. That's how recent the Watchtower writers are. The writers are really quick on this stuff. They snap this stuff together like overnight. They say the United States has been shaken by an attempted assassination of a former President Donald Trump. And the only news that I found on that was at Fox News, and they talked about this Jehovah guy. They brought that up. They could have said homeless. They could have done more research, I guess, but they didn't. They said, where is he? Jehovah. There he is. He's a Jehovah's Witness. That's what they said. Now, what this young man is standing for, I think, is good. Your life has value. Stop reckless driving. I think he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all it was. But, you know, Watchtower could have talked about this. They didn't.
Right. Well, I mean, there is more to the story. I think that they are. He allegedly had a knife, and he was in an altercation with another homeless man. But the fact that they're trying to correlate this with the RNC is a little fishy to me. If anybody has seen my political stuff, I don't believe in anything that you see in the news. And quite honestly, it does get a little confusing because there was a separate incident at the RNC where allegedly there was another assassination attempt and they killed somebody. But this man has nothing to do with that story. And so it's a little confusing because I thought that it did correlate. And I'm like, oh, is this the same guy that they shot? Because they said that they shot somebody else outside of the RNC. So I don't know what's going on with the news right now, but they are trying to get a little muddy and they're bringing out these stories. And then Jehovah came out in that series. So I don't know. I don't, it's a little fishy. So I'm going to watch the news and see what happens. But this has nothing to do with the another attempt that was outside of the RNC. This is a separate story. And so the neighbors knew him as a Jehovah because he used to informally preach.
Okay, well, I thought they showed Trump walking with a Band-Aid on his ear at the beginning. I don't know. But that could be another news story that I seen. So we'll move on. I agree with you. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. Now, No More Legal has taken to court amid claims sex abuse survivors were shortchanged by compensation schemes. So what's happening is, and this is coming out, this is an Australian broadcast. Lawyers are looking into class actions. Why are they settling so cheap? Are they being paid under the table by Watchtower? This is basically what's being said. Now, that's my words. It's not in here. But you're being taken to court because you shortchanged your abusers. It sounds like Watchtower's involved. I'm going to run an article here coming up on lobbying. I'm going to talk about lobbying. I'm going to make a video. I'm working on it. I got it ready to go. But it's about Massimo. And he's a lobbyist. And we had him pegged for $440,000 just doing one healthcare lobbying. Imagine what Watchtower pays him. We're going to talk about that. Now, MBI investigating sexual abuse alleged tied to the Broadmoor Baptist Church. So this is not just Jehovah's Witnesses. It's all over. Everyone's getting checked out. MBI, who's that? Who's the MBI? The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. They're conducting an investigation into a past incident that occurred at a Broadmoor Baptist church. And due to this being an ongoing investigation, no further comment will be made. So it's an ongoing investigation. It sounds like it's a Pennsylvania all over again. So, folks, it's coming out in every state. Okay, This is my last article, I guess. These two. This is just a simple one. In Cuba, there's I don't know why, but this is a little store that Jehovah's Witnesses have. I don't know if the org has a store or some Jehovah's Witness members. Now, it's no different from me having a store. I had a security shop. Lots of Jehovah's Witnesses have businesses. So that one I found, it was just an interest article. And over here, this parish teacher sentenced after being found guilty of CSA. So a parish teacher. So it's all over, folks. It's coming out. We are definitely, in my opinion, in some kind of an awakening. The whole world's waking up. And we're in the middle of it, and we get to report on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said the internet is changed everything. Nothing is going to be hidden anymore. They're going to get caught, and that's why you shouldn't even do it to begin with. But like, we live in a modern age of technology, so I think it's just, I'm happy they're getting caught. I'm happy that they're getting caught.
Okay, Ruby, did you have another article or news item?
Yes.
We got
Okay,
lots
so I
of
have a couple of them. You know why? It's because we didn't go live last Friday. So I've been writing all these notes, and it's like
good for
8
you.
different. Yeah,
Good for
8
you.
like
You're a good newscaster.
Oh my
Great work.
God. Yeah, so I'm so happy I'm doing this with you. So my source is coming from Twitter, exJW, and his @ is 587 BCE. That's funny. I just thought that was funny. But he's really great. I mean, all of these news is coming from that Twitter account. I'm going to put that in the description. So this story comes out of Mexico. And it also is going to lead into a segue of another story, because this is the contradiction that they want to say. Okay. The Jehovah's Witnesses in Mexico are trying to make it seem as if everybody is welcome. And oh no, what happened?
Wow, those are some nice clothes.
No. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to
That's what showed
translate
up.
it.
You know what showed up on my Bible thing the other day? I'm afraid to pull
What?
it up now. Google AI is listening to us. You know, we shut everything off we can, right?
Yeah.
It's listening, folks. If you don't believe AI is listening, it's listening. We were sitting here talking about bathing suits, right? My wife we were just having this chat, and we're actually in this sea can here right now. And we have, if over there is a whole bunch of tubs. I've got my toolbox over there. If I could turn my laptop, I don't know why I can't. I could turn my laptop in. Like I'm not fooling anybody. I'd have to unplug it. Let me just see. Everyone wants to know. Is it coming? Can you see still? Is it all? I lost my screen. Can you still see? Ruby?
Okay, yeah, now we can see a little bit better.
Okay, can you see what's going on over there?
Yes, it looks like a storage.
Yeah, this is where we've been. We're in day 19, right?
Yeah.
And here's our
Wow.
fridge. Here's our fridge right down here, cooler. So, oh, my water just spilled. Good thing I have my computer up here. But I have a little
Oh,
cooler
man.
for my computer. It's not a big deal.
Are you talking about AI?
Yeah,
Did you tell them about the swimsuits?
yeah,
Okay,
that's what I
so
was telling
The
them.
funniest thing is, we were talking about electrical tape one night, and then Vern goes onto YouTube, and YouTube is trying to get him to watch. It's a bunch of models walking down a runway.
With electrical tape over their boobies.
They're
That's
covering up
it.
nipples.
Electrical tape.
We were like, what?
I haven't looked at that stuff,
Oh
but
my
I was
gosh.
looking for electrical tape.
Yeah, we were talking about
in the
it.
sea
Oh
can.
my
And then-
God. You have to
So
turn it.
I'm telling you,
I actually know how to
YouTube's
turn
awesome.
off that setting. I have to look into it. If you use Google, there's a way to turn off the listening
Really?
feature.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't
it's kind of
listen.
handy sometimes.
A
You know,
little
I'm
bit.
talking about videos and stuff, and up pops videos in the YouTube feed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, I was thinking about that topic.
But yeah, the electrical tape one
You know?
really got us talking. You know, I might have checked the history, and he's telling the truth. He doesn't watch that stuff.
It's funny. Anyways, go ahead, Ruby. I cut you off with your
No,
little.
I cut her off. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
We want to go back and
Um,
see what kind of clothes you were looking at.
that was an ad. Okay, that they got me with that one. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Maybe
so
wigs.
this,
So the wigs are coming up, hey?
yeah, I'm a, if we have any more shows, I'm buying more wigs.
Some women it's
Okay,
shoes.
what was that?
For some it's shoes and some it's wigs.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah, I
nothing wrong
love
with
it.
wigs. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I've been obsessed since I was like a teenager. I love it. Um, okay, so this story is coming out of Ciudad Victoria. So Jehovah's Witnesses in Ciudad Victoria do not close doors to homosexuals. The
Really?
spokesperson, yeah, right? So Jehovah's Witnesses are now
Yeah.
claiming that the doors are open for homosexuals.
And apostates.
Yes, and apostates. So the spokesperson for the Guadalupe Reyes Colunga congregation stated that they do not discriminate. We do not judge, since in the end they are all children of God. And you see this picture here, it's like a little press conference. They're trying to, this is, I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to do some PR,
Look at the
trying to give some good
JW org
PR.
on the wall.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's like they're at the Bethel or something.
This is like a PR stunt.
A PR stunt.
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah. If you see the other,
Yeah.
it says Department of Information, Public Information in Spanish.
Really?
It's their pedo department.
That's a pedo department.
Yeah.
They're pushing for something, right? They're losing so many
Exactly.
members. They're trying to change I think they're just trying to change the religion.
Yeah, exactly.
That blows beards out of the water.
Okay, so the article reads and it says Jehovah's Witnesses do not close their doors to homosexual people. So those who want to be part of their group can join without any problem, says the spokesperson for the congregation Guadalupe Reyes Colunga. At a press conference, he stated that they do not discriminate, since in the end they are all children of God. He says, we do not discriminate. We do not judge. There are even people who have these sexual preferences and come with us and are there because they are not treated badly, he expressed.
Really? It's not what the elders book says.
He assured that as long as people decide to accept God, they will continue to seek more to join their church. He says, we have an experience of a person, a transsexual who came to our community. He arrived dressed as a woman. He was never discriminated against. He always arrived and was respected. And over time, he abandoned those thoughts and returned to being heterosexual. And he told us that he became homosexual and transgender because he was raped at the age of 14. He explained. Reyes Colunga pointed out that people with different sexual preferences will always be supported. And in addition, he said they will not be discriminated against in any congregation.
Well, okay,
And
there's a degree to that.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yep.
get why they say that and how they say it. And if I was on the JW on the PID department, I would say
Mhm.
that because I could get away with it. And I would say,
Right.
well, yeah, I myself, and this is true, I myself, as a regular pioneer, I studied with lots of gay people,
Right.
people. I could go on and on about some of these studies, but
Right.
as a JW, you're studying the Bible. You're not there to study about his his sexual life, right? That comes later. So you see, I could say to a newspaper, we come to the door if a person is gay, lesbian, or heterosexual or whatever. We study with them. We
Right.
study with them. You know how many homeless people I talked to that were
Right.
guys dressed, heterosexual or whatever? I've talked to lots as a JW. So they're not discriminated, but if they don't change their ways, the
There you
study
go.
eventually dies out. We drop the study. We don't study forever. We'll study
Right.
for 6 months, maybe a year. But if they don't make any changes, they don't start coming to the meetings and they don't change and turn back to a straight lifestyle, we know that they're not following the Bible. And eventually, as we get to study 23, which is
Mm-hmm.
hopefully 23 weeks down the road, about 6 months. We'll cover this. We're not going to cover this on the first or second study unless he brings it up. And
Right.
all I would say is just do the research. We're not going to get into that. We got to get into the basics. Let's figure out who this God
Right.
character is. We always go to Psalms 83:18. Oh, it's Jehovah. It's Jehovah. You see, that's why we're different. We're special. We're Jehovah's Witnesses. You see, and you know the whole game. It's a
Exactly.
bit of a game. It's a bit of a hat. We wear this JW mask, and we're trained. We can become specialists. If I'm in the PID department, I can be a specialist on how I talk about this stuff, especially if I had experience doing it. I could write that article, but it's
Right.
not true. It's not the whole story. You see, if your kid, if you're I'm a ministerial servant, regular pioneer, so I got some privileges. I didn't get to be an elder yet, let's say, but I'm raising a family, and my son comes out gay. What happens?
Yeah,
I
you have to
talk-
step down.
Very first thing is the brother's going to say, "Step down, or we'll delete you."
Right.
That's what they did to me. It wasn't over the gay thing, but my son decided he didn't want to be a JW. He said, "Dad, I don't believe in this stuff." You're baptized, son. I know, but I don't believe in this stuff. I said, well, then just skirt the elders. Fade.
Yep.
I told him that. And he did. So anyways, that's what, but you see, if he, as a J, I lost all my privileges. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But I know families where their sons come out as gay, and the son has to leave the country. The son leaves the country because he's so shamed by his parents. And his dad wanted to stay being an elder. So he had to kick the kid out. The kid's of age.
Yep.
The kid came out, "You're not really welcome here because you're disfellowship now," because he was baptized. He got disfellowship because he came out as gay, right? So three
Right.
elders meet with him, and he says, "I'm gay. I can't help it. This is who I am." And they said, "Well, you see what it says here?" We read the elders book. You get disfellowshipped. So we know that news article is beep, BS, beep, BS. It's garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I brought it up, because that's the narrative that Jehovah's Witnesses want to make in Mexico. But I have another story to segue right into the complete polar opposite coming out of Spain. And this is the story of Patricia. And she started this as a LGBT visibility. And so she's coming out with her story. And I'm so glad that I found it, because I was thinking, so let's look at Patricia's story. Let's see. Share screen. It's kind of sad. Okay, so you should be able to see Patricia. Okay, and I'm just going to read a little bit of her story. I will include the link to her story, because I'm so glad that Spain, this outlet in Spain, gave her a story. Let me see. Where's the story? Okay. So this was posted July 6, 2024. And the title is Patricia, the lesbian who rejected her family of Jehovah's Witnesses. Quote, "My pride is to have gotten out of there. This young woman from Mauricia participates together with Kogam and Tinder in the campaign Let's Make the Invisible Visible Together, with the aim of preventing her story and that of so many other oppressed lesbians from being repeated again." So Patricia Cerdan is 31 years old, but she has only been living in freedom for a few years. Her family belongs to Jehovah's Witnesses, and she professed that religious denomination until she was 23 years old. She spent her childhood following her ways, her routines of going to meetings, of preaching, of doing Bible studies, without being able to relate to those who did not belong to the same organization as her, with, quote, worldly people. As she grew up in her adolescence, she progressed in her studies. Let me see. I'll just skip a little bit. She says in her high school, which was very small, there were no Jehovah's Witnesses her age, so she was alone. And her parents took her to cities like Murcia or Almeria, so I could have those friends her age. And she met, okay, she says in one interview, this young woman from Aguilas. With them, she watched movies and made other quiet plans like studying the Bible together. She says, quote, my whole life was 100% religious from the time I was born until I left there. She grew up in an environment of fear, not knowing, not following the path of truth, of being a sinner who was going to die and who was not going to enter paradise. So she decided that it was better to stay with them because I had the support from my family and I was going to inherit eternal life. I understood it, I studied it, and I knew it, but I couldn't allow myself the luxury of asking myself what I thought about it because I had to accept it no matter what. I couldn't question whether it was true or not. What would happen if I sinned? She reflects. When she came of age, she asked her father to leave the religion. She was tired of always preaching, of living according to what the Bible said, and without being able to do what she wanted, choose her friends, her tastes. I wanted to make my life, not out of disobedience, but because it was necessity that she had. And so the article goes on to explain how after the age of 18, she began to experience different emotions regarding women. In the witnesses, you can have a boyfriend, and the idea is that you get married soon because you cannot have sexual relations. I reached that age of looking for a partner to see which witness was the one I liked so that I could get married and have a family. In that way, I started to feel that there was something strange in me, and I can't quite identify towards a specific friend, she says. If she touched him, Patricia would get nervous. She didn't know how to act, and she didn't understand what that feeling was about. So then it goes on to how she felt like she couldn't really identify. She couldn't follow, the Jehovah's Witness lifestyle. And then she goes on to describe her first experience with a woman. And it was also with another member of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And so she says she panicked because she was going to be expelled and we were not going to inherit the kingdom of God. After that first contact, she has to submit to a judicial committee in which 3 elders of the organization asked her very intrusive questions about her sin, having kissed a woman, and whether she was truly sorry. If you are, they forgive you, but within limits. And if not, they expel you and announce you publicly. So the rest you leave aside. So that's Patricia's story. And so I'm going to include the link to her story. She's from Spain. And so this is in direct contrast to what is being said in Mexico. You see, this woman was a Jehovah's Witness, and then she turned out that she wasn't living by Bible standards. And so what happens if you don't? In the Jehovah's Witnesses, you will get kicked out. They have a 0 tolerance policy when it comes to LGBTQ topics and sex. And so I'm so glad that Patricia was able to share her story, and I'm going to include the link.
And again, their elders book talks all about it. And 3 elders, 2 elders will meet with you. They do what they call an investigative committee. 2 elders, so it's not threatening. They'll even go for coffee. That's what they did with me. They went for coffee at Tim Hortons. I didn't know it was a investigative committee. Because then they tried to lure me into the Kingdom Hall, and I said, I'm not going into any damn Kingdom Hall. So what do? They go back, report to the body, tell the body, oh, he's even used a swear word. He's like demonized. He's got to be, that's how they deal. That's how they prosecute you. So then I go back at the one brother and I said, okay, show me in the court of law, if we're to go to court, show me how you're going to defend and tell the world how you demonize. I want to see it in your elders book. I want to see how you demonize someone. Where's the instructions? Okay, this is how you demonize someone and make an announcement about it and spread lies, rumors, and slander. This is how you do it. So it's not in their elders book even. But they demonize you. And it's something they pass around. It's like passing around that Smurf dolls are bad, and put and spreading slander. They should sue the hell out of Watchtower for that crap. And probably people do. Watchtower starts spreading scrap pretty soon. Certain singers, John, whatever, Denver, don't go to his concert. He's demonized, and I think he
Right.
made a statement he doesn't like JWs or something. But anyways, you know how the organization is. I don't know. Do you think the organization is trying to change right now? Do you think they're waking up with all of us? The whole world's waking up, right? So it's natural that JWs want to be more like Jesus. Let's not focus on Jehovah. He killed a lot of people. Let's focus on Jesus. He saved a lot of people. Maybe. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to backtrack on what has been happening, because you have stories like Patricia. I mean, how many thousands of other people have had the same experience? And this is why I bring it up, because Mexico wants to make it seem like, oh yeah, sure, you can come in, you can become a witness, but you have to leave all that stuff behind. You see, they don't tell you the real truth about it. And if you continue to live a sinful lifestyle, you will not be able to call yourself a Jehovah's Witness or go out in service formally. I mean, they'll let you attend the meetings or whatever. I don't think that they would revoke your invitation, but you're not going to become a member. And if you are a member and you come out of the, and you say that you are gay or whatever, you will be expelled. And so that's the truth that I'm trying to expose here. And just to be honest, even though I don't agree with that lifestyle or those morals or whatever, I'm still going to showcase these stories, because it does show the discrimination. It does highlight that Jehovah's Witnesses they will expel you just because of it, regardless of Christian viewpoints. Let's say the person doesn't want to become Christian anymore and they live a lifestyle of what Patricia was describing. That's okay. There's no problem with that. We should not be forcing or imposing our beliefs or our Christian values on other people. And even though I may feel differently, and I may have a different opinion towards that, I'm not going to impose it and tell Patricia, you're living a sinful life, you're doing something wrong. It's her choice, and she should be able to live her life the way that she wants to. And she shouldn't be forced just because she feels like the anxiety of like, oh, I'm not going to have everlasting life if I'm in a same-sex relationship. That's something that you got to deal with your own relationship with God if you believe in him. You know what I'm saying? So I am only giving that perspective from the Jehovah's Witness. I'm just exposing it because Mexico wants to make it seem like everything's okay. You can definitely be a homosexual and come in here. And Patricia is in Spain telling you how it really is.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm agreeing with you 100%.
Yeah,
In
good
fact,
points, Ruby.
my good wife brought up a point here when she wanted to.
Yeah, so just hold on. We're
Is this
looking.
it?
No,
No.
keep going. You'll see it.
We're just combing through Twitter. She's really the Twitter one. She does all our Twitter work.
Are you saying I'm the twit?
No, you're not.
Okay, no, keep going.
Oh, it's way down here.
I think so. Do. That's it.
Really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I think if you click it, you get a bigger picture. There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah.
I'm going to present this, and then we'll read it together. Okay, it says an atheist believes that a hospital should be built instead of a church. An atheist believes that a deed must be done instead of a prayer said. An atheist strives for involvement in life and not escape into death. He wants disease conquered, poverty banished, and war eliminated. An atheist. I thought that was really good. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. I had an atheist phase myself like 5 years ago. But I have moved. I have grown, and I have accepted Christianity again, and I am still inquiring. So that's why I make that point, because a lot of people are going to start seeing my viewpoints come out in future streams, especially with the political stuff. And I am more open with my beliefs, and I'm not afraid to share my beliefs. And I am going to be open and honest and say that even though I am not an ally of the LGBTQ community, and I do not, approve of any of that community and what they do or what they say. Like, I have no part of it. Even though I do hold those views, I am going to expose the reality of their situation within the Jehovah's Witness stuff. And that's why I say, even though I choose this lifestyle for myself, just like they have chosen that lifestyle for themselves, I am not here to judge. I'm not God. That is their relationship that they would have to do themselves. I talk about this with my family all the time because my cousin came out as well. And she is one of the only cousins that doesn't shun me. And I told her the exact same thing. I would never shun you either. But I'm not going to sit here and approve of your lifestyle or whatever. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I do disagree with it. And it's respectful, like, we can still be friends, we can still talk, we can still have a relationship and be respectful of both of our viewpoints. She knows that I am Christian and I'm inquiring into orthodoxy, and that I would never agree with certain things that she presents to me. And I know that she already said her truth, and she said that she is a lesbian, and that's the way she wants to live her life. And she's still a witness, and they force her to still be a witness. So she's physically in, mentally out. And so I'm the only person that she can call and talk to and say, you're the only person that understands me. And I told her, of course I understand you. I would never shun you for that. But I'm also not going to say that that's an okay lifestyle. So as long as we can respect each other, I have no problem with communicating with you. Just like with anybody else, I would say the exact same thing. But I'm going to be open and honest with my viewpoint and my worldview. And because we left the same cult together. So just like you should be accepted and respected, I would expect the same thing for my views and for my positions. And so as long as we can keep that respect, I have no problem, associating with whoever. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in that judgmental JW mindset anymore. Like, I can't talk to you because you're gay. I'm not like that anymore. But I also am convicted in what I believe in. And so I think we can all get along.
Great. Thanks for sharing how you feel. I think how we feel is good. I put up a comment. I think Jackie Jacks made it. What did she say? Oh yeah, Jackie Jacks. That's funny. I've had many women hit on me. Some were too hot, but I'm not into chicks. Now, same thing. I love all people, right? Like, I love everyone. I don't care. I don't look at skin deformities or any of that. I look inside. You can usually see it through the eyes. You can usually see it through the face, the words, the feelings. You can get in. You can do the. I don't know. Maybe I'm assuming people can. That's what I do. And I remember going up north, and I'm in this northern community, and there's this young man working the teller, and I was putting security systems in, so he was assigned to be in the store with me, right? So I'm not alone. And he'd put the music on, and he'd come and try to help me. And you could see, he was gay. I knew he was gay, And then he says, what tunes do you like? So I said, well, I don't know, put your favorite tune on. So he put his favorite tune on. And then I said, well, what do you think of this favorite tune? I had one. And he said, well, I don't know. Nickelback's not everyone's favorite. So he put on one of his favorite tunes, like the Streetcar Boys or Backstreet Boys, Streetcar Boys, whatever. And I said, yeah, that's cool. So he plays that all night, and I'm working. And at the end of the day, he says, can I come up to your room? And I said, for what? I got to go to bed and sleep. Oh, he says, I thought you were like me. And I said, what do you mean, like you?
Oh man.
I said, don't put your. I said, you wear your heart on your shoulder. You're a beautiful person, and don't let anybody stigmatize you. You are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Love who you are. I think you're a great person. And that was the end of it. I think we put too much emphasis on this whole gay lesbian stuff. Let's start looking at who the people are. I think half the people are confused of who we are. We're beginning to think we're in a construct. We're all
Hmm.
manufactured. I don't think it's like that. We got free will. We're born. Part of our personality comes from our journey. Enjoy the journey. Live it with love. You'll attract love back. It's really is that simple, but that's a hard thing for most people. Hard thing, especially
Right.
you talk about politics. Let's talk about loving neighboring countries. How do you take politics in the Bible and stomach the whole thing and make sense of it? I have a hard time, to be honest,
Hmm.
because I see that they fight over borders. There's no love of neighbor. It's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about I. It's all about number one. Who's that? Who sings that song?
Vern.
I
Oh,
can't
I don't
play
know.
it. You don't know? Is that old time? Who's that
Oh,
guy?
might be Toby Keith.
Toby Keith. It's all about
Oh, I'm
me.
gonna.
It's all about I. It's all about number one. And that's basically what politics is. And it has to be. It has to be. And then people fight over, well, this guy's better than that guy. But at the end of the day, someone has to run the country. Someone. I don't
Yeah.
care who he is. I don't care what he did, but someone has to run that darn country. And if it's the US, he's running the world. Running the
Exactly.
world.
Yeah.
This
Like I
is
talked
something we
about with
should be
Jimmy.
all interested in. This is our next world leader. Whether you like
It's
it or
that
not, I tie
important.
everything into Bible prophecy. You can.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What does the Bible says? Well, the Bible does say that God will work through worldly rulers. Has in the past. Why wouldn't he
Hmm.
now? It's no different.
Yeah, but I believe that I do. And I think it also takes a lot for somebody like me to say what I just said. You know what I mean? Like, they. It's just like society has created that hype of like, oh, you can't say certain things, and then
Yeah.
it puts more pressure on. Well, why is it so important? It's not that like you said. I don't care. It doesn't really matter, and I agree with
Yeah.
you. But that's why when Mexico did what they did with that press conference, they're trying to paint the narrative that's not true. And regular Jehovah's Witnesses will say the same thing. Oh, it's fine. That's okay. And my mother is the same way. That's why I call them
Mhm.
hypocrites, because I'm like, you know the truth. You know what's gonna happen if this person doesn't change. You will drop them like a hot
Yeah.
potato and you'll never talk to them ever again. So why are you
They
doing
give
a
them 6
why?
months. I think
Yeah, like
Pioneer
why are
School
you?
said 6 months.
Yeah, but that's being fake. That's being a fake person.
Oh,
You're
it's
being a
complete
fake
fake.
friend. And
You don't
and
care
that's
about the person.
yeah, you don't. And but you're also fake to other Jehovah's
Yeah,
Witnesses. Like you put a face
absolutely.
and you're fake to other people, and that's what woke up my eyes, because if I disagreed with something, I'm not going to be fake about it. I will tell you straight
Mhm.
up, I do not agree with this and this, and I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to say that, because I'm not fake. I say everything the way it is. These are my opinions, and I state that. And I'm not here to say, well, you have to
Mhm.
agree with me or not. I am completely an independent and critical thinker now, and I'm not afraid to say certain things that might be considered controversial, or like I told you
Mhm.
before with the political stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna talk about some stuff, guys. I don't know. And I saw one of your comments, and I was gonna talk to you about this, but like it was kind of sad that somebody said that they were gonna unsubscribe from you because of the things that I was sharing. And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sorry, but like some things have to be said and talked about. We can't just be
Mhm.
like tight-lipped about a certain subject just because we think it's gonna probably be offensive or whatever. In my
Mhm.
opinion, even if we are uncomfortable talking about certain things, we have to talk about them. We have to bring awareness and exposure to certain things. And like I said, is my personality, my persona may not be for everybody, but that's why I do this on my own platform. I only collaborate with people who want to collaborate with me. And if you guys are okay with it, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like I don't say no to anybody. I am willing and open to talk with anybody. And so I hope that
Yeah.
everybody enjoys that and
Well,
appreciates that. Yeah.
we think it's great. And in fact, if there's people in Europe, I was just looking in my comments for Tad. There he is. Tad shared some stuff from Japan. You see, we don't see it all. And if someone's into the politics in Japan, they can kind of get a better feel for what's going on. Tad's been he joined Discord. Now we're trying to teach him how to play poker. Thanks,
Oh
Tad,
man, yeah, that's gonna be so much
thank you
fun.
for being with us. So,
Yeah.
we're if someone in Europe wants to talk politics and come on and have some airtime, we're exJW TV.
Yeah.
We have a lot of exJW friends. We say right off the bat in the political stuff. I know, what do I know? I'm in Canada. I know nothing. It's nice that Ruby and Jimmy are down investigating this. I trust talking to them. I like both of you guys. And I'm not saying I agree with everything that you guys say, because I always say, you know, we're in Canada. What about good neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
Free trade went out the window when Trump came. It cost us something as farmers.
Yeah.
You know, but that's good neighbor.
Yep.
But, you know, I understand big business. And maybe what Canada had with Trudeau and that free trade agreement needed revised anyways. Maybe it did. Now we see U.S. milk on our shelves up here. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't before. Maybe good neighbor is, well, what about the U.S.? Why aren't we selling their goods? We're supposed to have a border that's almost invisible. Why aren't we both selling each other's goods? Maybe Trump did have a good idea, you know, but as a Canadian, I took offense. I did. So did all these other Canadians. But maybe our farmers were gouging us because we can buy milk cheaper because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm riding the wave.
Yeah.
What was I?
Yeah,
I
me
was a
too.
JW all my life, and now I come out. I'm allowed to do a bit of research. I'm allowed to look at other news, you know, the other side of the story. That's what we kind of like, right? The other side of the story.
Yeah, yeah. I have so many new ideas coming up, so it's going to be amazing. It's just going to be amazing. So I think that I am going to end my stories here, because I did have a couple of more, but it would have to take a lot of like reading, like I did with Patricia's story, because I want to relay their story the correct way. And we have a storm. I could hear the storm coming through, so I know my internet is going to die in a minute. So I'm
Apparently
gonna
the
have
internet
to.
went out the other day in the whole country. The
They're
internet.
having issues today.
Really?
Today there's issues.
Yeah, flights are screwed up.
Flights are screwed up. Everything's there's some trouble out there in the internet.
Oh,
Maybe the heat wave is causing power outages. I'm not sure. There's a heat wave all across North America right now. Forest fires
Yeah.
have started up in Canada here. I see in the US as well. So you know, we're all hanging by the edge of our seats. So if you are a good neighbor, remember we talk about it in this show. Get to know your neighbors. It's not the Watchtower.
Yeah.
We're gonna play a commercial on the Watchtower. I was gonna play it, but maybe I won't. Someone in the comments said this. They like this part, but this is what the Watchtower is about.
Money, money, money. Make money, money, make money, money, money. Take money, money, take money, money, money.
But that's what they're about. Money, money, money. It's all about money. And why not? We got to tell people this, right? So, Ruby, you have the rest of the show. Take it home for us, please.
Well, I think that's it for now. I'm going to save these stories for next Friday, and then we're also going to see Monica's part 3 next Friday. And yeah, because there's a storm coming through, so I'm gonna have to log off in a few minutes. But we can also play the new outro that I made for you guys with your website.
Okay,
So,
well, until next time, you cue me up. I'm gonna wait for you. You roll it out, cue me up, go for it.
well, I was just gonna
Were you
say
waiting
thank
for
you.
me?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is live. Like, I was just gonna say thank you guys, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys loved all the stories. I mean, just like Vern said, if you do have a story or something that you want us to cover, email me, DM me, get on Discord. Yeah, get on Discord and you can talk with me, share anything with me. And next, following streams, we will bring up the story. Thanks.
Okay, well, keep living your life with love. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.